Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Amari Kalia. Welcome to my channel. Today we are meal prepping and I'm going to show you guys like how I'm eating to be in a deficit and to build muscle and lose fat. So basically I have all high protein meals and they are like lower calorie meals and they are supporting my goal to be in a deficit. So I'm going to tell you guys all the meals that I'm making. I'm also going to put the links to all these meals in my description box because all of my meals are coming from Pinterest. That's where I get all of my recipes for the most part because it's just easier for me to read and follow along with. So for breakfast, I'm going to make a breakfast burrito bowl, which will have scrambled eggs, ground turkey as my like sausage / meat protein, and then sweet potatoes. One of my meals is a healthy burger bowl. That will only be for today because I have some ground turkey that I made yesterday, and I'm also going to use that for my burrito bowl. So I made a pound of ground turkey yesterday. I'm going to eat some of it today for my dinner, but I'm going to use the rest of it for my burrito bowls. With the healthy burger bowls, it's going to be ground turkey, lettuce, tomatoes, and some small potatoes. So basically, it's a burger, but it's crumbled up into a scramble, and I'm going to eat it with some tomatoes, lettuce, kind of like a salad. I'm going to have some chipotle sauce, and I'm going to make some fries that I got from Whole Foods. That's my dinner tonight. So basically, I'm just subtracting the bread. And then I'm going to make chicken wraps. So the chicken wraps are really for hubby because he is also trying to eat more lunch at work, and so we've been playing around with different meals. Last week he had sandwiches with just like some sandwich meat and bread, but this week we're going to make chicken wraps. And okay, so y'all just seen that flicker. It is raining outside and the power has kind of been going in and out. See, I don't know how this meal prep is going to go, but we're hoping that it won't. Yesterday it was going in and out, but it did come back on quickly, so hoping that it don't do nothing too crazy today. So yeah, chicken wraps. And then my new recipe that I'm making is Mediterranean meatballs. So I'm very excited for that. And then I'm making chicken drumsticks with Brussels sprouts. I'll give more details about each meal. So right now I already have cut up my potatoes. I have my sweet potatoes cut up and my regular small russet potatoes cut up. We're gonna start with the meatballs for today's meal prep because when I meal prep, I like to start with the hardest thing, the thing that takes the longest, which is the meat. So I'm gonna get all the meat out the way and then I'll go into the veggies. I do the meat and potatoes and then I'll go into the veggies last. So first, let's do the Mediterranean meatballs. So I have my AirPod in and I have a laptop and my iPad because I use my iPad for the recipes, so I have my Pinterest pulled up, and then I have my laptop because when I'm cooking, I like to make this a whole experience. So I'll either play a video on YouTube or I put on my show. It just makes the process a lot more fulfilling and I enjoy doing it more. So yeah, that's why you see the AirPod. So I have my stuff ready for the ground turkey meatballs. So we have the ground turkey. 1 pound of ground turkey. So ground turkey, and then all of the seasonings are salt, pepper, cumin, zest, lemon zest, which is like the peelings of a lemon, parsley, oregano, I think I said salt, pepper, minced garlic, some red onion chopped, and we're gonna add in an egg and some minced garlic. So So with this mixture, I'm going to make about 16 meatballs, and y'all, I eyeball everything. Like some things I measure, but for the most part, I just eyeball it. What makes these Mediterranean is the seasoning. Like I had to buy lemon zest. I've never used that before. And if you don't know, when you make meatballs, you're not supposed to like completely roll the mixture. Of course, you want to make sure that it's evenly spread, but you don't want to like overly do it because that keeps it from being like moist. And let me tell you, I've made meatballs so many times, and what you want is a moist meatball. So I got the oven preheating on 400. These are going to get paired with pita bread, which I'll show you guys later. But pita bread, I don't know if you guys have ever, well, if you've been to like Cava or any type of Mediterranean spot, you know what pita bread is. So the recipe called, like, you can eat it over rice, you can eat it with whatever you want. I'm going to eat it with pita bread, so I may like crush them up. And it also calls for tzatziki sauce, which is like a creamy sauce with like different seasonings. I don't really know exactly what it is. I just know that it's good. This recipe called for you to make your own tzatziki, but I didn't want to do that, so I just bought some that I already like, and I'm just gonna eat that. So yeah, I'm gonna finish rolling these up, and then I'm gonna put them in the oven. And then we'll start on the next meat, which is probably going to be the drumsticks. I'm going to put those in the air fryer. Alright, so I put the drumsticks in the air fryer. Those are cooking. Now I'm about to start the chicken for the wraps. So I have my olive oil. There were 2 chicken breasts. I split them in half. And then, then once I cook them, I'm going to cut them into like strips for the wraps. The seasonings for this is your average seasonings: chili powder, paprika, onion, garlic, salt, pepper, and that's it. I'm going to cook these in a cast iron skillet to give it more of a grilled effect in a sense. So yeah, and then after this, I'm going to start on the veggies, which I think the only veggies are Brussels sprouts. Alright, so the drumsticks are technically done, but I'm letting them cook a little longer because there's so many in there, I don't feel like they cooked evenly. I know they didn't. So I turned down the temp and I'm letting them cook for about 5 or 6 more minutes. The meatballs are done, but I'm going to put those in one container because I'm eating those like with the pita bread, so I'm not going to put those in separate containers. I have the chicken breast on, and now I'm going to make my potatoes. So like I said, I did cook them earlier They were the small, like, russet potatoes, or small baby potatoes. I don't know what they call those. I cut them in half and I cut them in fours because I'm going to eat those with, I think, 2 meals. So I'm going to eat those with the burger bowls that I'm going to have tonight for dinner, and then I'm also going to have them as a side with any of the meals. So whether it's with the pita bread and the meatballs, or with the chicken wraps, or even with the drumsticks and Brussels sprouts. So I'm just going to make these and then put them in a separate container. I'm not going to divide them into a meal prep container because, like I said, they're going to be dispersed around multiple meals. So for these, I'm just going to take a little bit of olive oil, and I'm going to bake these. So I put some olive oil. Let me turn the oven back on. And then I'm going to season with a little bit of onion, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of paprika, salt and pepper. Those are the drumsticks. They're done. Y'all, I'm not gonna lie, these drumsticks are 10 out of 10. This is my go-to recipe for drumsticks. Like I said, it will be in the description box. So evenly, there are 2 in each. I'm about to eat this one and share it with hubby because, y'all, it's fire. Like the skin, everything was just 10 out of 10. So I'm about to clean this out, and I'm gonna start cooking the Brussels sprouts. Then I'm gonna make my eggs, and I am done. The chicken breasts are almost done. So, and the potatoes are almost done. Actually, I'm not almost done because after those potatoes, I'm gonna put my sweet potatoes in there. Then I'm done. I've been cooking for 1 hour and 17 minutes, so I should be done by 7 o'clock. That's the goal. So for these potatoes, I only season them with rosemary and olive oil. That's it. So the recipe calls to let the Brussels sprouts cook for 6 minutes, and then you toss them in a bowl, and then toss some olive oil on top because you want them to be crispy. I'm gonna cook them for about 5 minutes. And then when I take them out, I'm gonna toss them again in salt and pepper. I'm using keto wraps for the chicken wraps. Okay, everything is done. I have the sweet potatoes in the oven right now. They are pretty much done. The timer is about to go off. The last thing I need to make are the eggs. So I'm only making this for 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday, because that's when I work at 7:30 for work. So I take my breakfast to work. So I'm going to mix together 2 whole eggs and then a cup of egg whites. The reason why I add egg whites because egg whites are mostly protein and they're low in calories. So I like to mix them with 1 whole egg. Turn off the oven. So usually when I used to eat eggs, I would do 2 or 3 whole eggs. But first of all, that's very high in fat, and then also healthy fat, but still fat. And then it was a lot of calories. 1 egg is like 60 to 70 calories. So if you eat 3 eggs, that's like what, 210 calories, give or take. So when I eat eggs now, I'll do 1 whole egg, which is about 6 grams of protein, and then I'll do half a cup of egg whites, which is about 13 grams of protein. Put that together, that's about 18 grams of protein, and that is still going to be under like 130 to 40 calories. So I'm going to do 2 whole eggs and a full cup of egg whites, and then divide it up into 2 meals with the ground turkey, and then I am done cooking. The wraps, they didn't turn out as cute as I would like, but that's okay. Those are really for hubby to take to work. My meals are the meatballs, and I'm going to show you guys the pita bread. Meatballs with the pita bread and the tzatziki. We have the healthy turkey bowls or burger bowls. Well, that'll only be for tonight. And then I have the drumsticks with the Brussels sprouts. And then I have the potatoes that I'll kind of play around with. I like to have high carb meals during the day, and then at night I'll do low carb. So I'll do just like a meat and a vegetable for the most part, or I'll do that with some avocado. I do have avocado cups, so I'll probably add that to either my breakfast or my lunch. But I'm gonna go ahead and make my eggs, and then I am done cooking for the day. Alright guys, I am finally done cooking. So happy. It took me approximately 2 hours and 30 minutes, but that's because I was recording, so it took me a little longer. But this is the pita bread that I'm using. I'm using whole wheat pita bread. One is 150 calories, 28 grams of carbs, and 6 grams of protein. Also has 4 grams of fiber, so that adds to my fiber count of the day. And then this is the tzatziki dip that I use. So this one is a Greek yogurt dip. I don't know if all of them are made out of Greek yogurt. I'm not sure, but I got this one specifically because it has Greek yogurt, which means that I'll get some protein from it, just a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is take a pita bread, warm it up, spread some tzatziki on top, put some lettuce, tomato. I bought some small, the little circle tomatoes, cut those in half, put my meatballs, and then I'm gonna eat it like a sub. So that's gonna be my lunch. That's obviously a heavy meal because I'll be using the pita bread, and I may do a little bit of these potatoes. My breakfast, as you saw, is the ground turkey with eggs and some sweet potatoes, so carbs in both of those meals, which is cool. Also with my breakfast, I'll have some berries. I have blueberries, and then for my dinner, I have the drumsticks and the Brussels sprout. So that is what I'll be eating for the next at least 2 days. And then Thursday, I'll have to cook again. And then the chicken wraps are for my husband, so he's going to take that to work. And then, but if he only eats it twice, I'll have at least 1 serving of it. And there's 2 wraps per meal. So for me personally, like if I were to eat those, I would eat those with some berries instead of like French fries or whatever. And then, but I'm sure if he eat those, he'll probably eat them with, he's been eating the that popcorn, the Simply Something popcorn. It's supposed to be a healthier popcorn. So yeah, that is my meal prep for the next 2 to 3 days. And I have to say that because sometimes people think that I meal prep and I eat the same thing for an entire week. That is never the case. I always cook at least twice a week, sometimes 3 times, because I'll have to cook for the weekend, which is something that I've been practicing more, so I won't just go crazy on the weekends. But now I'm going to make my turkey bowl. I'm going to show you guys what that look like. Alright, so you saw my bowl. We got our potatoes, lettuce, pickles, chipotle mayo, I think I said tomatoes, and then our ground turkey. So I'm just going to eat this as a bowl. I'm not going to mix it up, but I'm going to eat it as a bowl. And then I'm going to pack my lunch for tomorrow. Once again, all the meals will be in the description box. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and watching me cook and got some good ideas for how to eat high protein meals while you're trying to tone, lose fat, build muscle, all the things to help you become a healthier person. My name is Amari. Thank you so much for being here. I will see y'all in the next video.